Our programs include many languages. Please log on to our program schedule for more details. suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes comprennent des émissions en plusieurs langues. Pour de plus amples informations, consultez suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Acara kami mencakup berbagai bahasa. Silakan membuka situs jadwal acara kami untuk rinciannya. suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The mega herd fields of Campbell Island are a sight to behold in the spring, as the heady violet blooms gently dance to sub-Antarctic breezes, creating a moment to remember with gratitude to God. The New Zealand Sub-Antarctic Islands, a pristine haven of life. Continue watching to find out more. Hello, cherished friends. I am Manaki, the erect crested penguin from the Sub-Antarctic Islands of New Zealand, and I am going vegan for the environment. The warm-hearted erect crested penguin family welcome all lovers of planet Earth's richly diverse natural splendor. Within the last few human generations, many unique and pristine locations have become inscribed under the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization's World Heritage status. The Charter of Protection applies to distinguished natural landmarks, as well as important areas of biodiversity, and is a sure sign that the consciousness of our world is evolving in leaps and bounds. From a bird's eye view, one may see what may appear as grains of cast-off landmass scattered amidst the chilly waters of the Southern Ocean. Upon closer observation, these islands are bustling with life. One of the remotest sites on Earth, these are the Sub-Antarctic Islands of New Zealand, pristine wonderlands full of unique beauty and rare species. New Zealand's Sub-Antarctic Islands attained World Heritage Listing status in 1998. This Sub-Antarctic group is comprised of the Antipodes Islands, Snares Islands, Campbell Islands, Bounty Islands and Auckland Islands. They lie several hundred kilometres to the south and southeast of New Zealand's South Island, and it takes days to travel there by ship. Geologically speaking, the Sub-Antarctic group actually comprises of high points on the southeastern plateau of the predominantly submerged 5 million square kilometre continent of Zealandia. Thus, these islands are essentially mountain peaks. The 5 island groups and accompanying territorial waters are administered by New Zealand's Department of Conservation, which upholds strict legislations to ensure the safety and longevity of the land's diverse and unique array of flora and fauna. These include rigid visiting criteria, for human activity has caused serious damage to the wildlife in the past. Beginning in the early 19th century, seals all over the world became victims of the international fur trade. Only in recent years have their numbers returned to normal in the Sub-Antarctic Islands with the help of such protective laws. Although human visits to the islands have become tightly restricted in recent years, people have endured the Sub-Antarctic group's arduous climate on multiple occasions in the past, either by choice or by misadventure. For instance, numerous fateful seafarers also caught a ride on the notorious Roaring Forties trade winds and unexpectedly found themselves seeking refuge on the various subantarctic islands. Archaeological evidence shows that Polynesian voyagers also, albeit briefly, settled on the Auckland Islands at the same time as their migration to the New Zealand mainland took place around 800 years ago. The Maori made another brief attempt at establishing themselves there, but found that the conditions were indeed unsuitable for them. More recently, the islands have become the centre of diverse scientific interest, including the collection of vital weather data to various geological assessments. Core samples have been gathered that shed light on different areas of interest, such as the physical composition of the continent of Zealandia, as well as the observation and, more importantly, the conservation of unique species of flora and fauna, many of which are only found in New Zealand's subantarctic islands. The largest of the island groups, covering an area of 625 square kilometres, are the Auckland Islands. The mountainous terrain and steep cliffs of Enderby, Disappointment, Adams and Auckland Island, along with the numerous islets, make breeding conditions ideal for a variety of sea and land birds. Here, in particular my friends the albatross and petrels, can be found in prolific numbers. The wealth of native land birds that are found on the Auckland Islands include varieties of snipe, teal, rail, shag and tomtit. The native land birds all splendidly coexist together with many of my other avian friends that are also found on the mainland of New Zealand, such as the red-fronted and yellow-crowned parakeets, bellbirds, pipits, dotterel and falcon. It sure is lively here, and if it wasn't already animated enough, the Auckland Islands are also the #1 breeding location of the New Zealand sea lion. Down amongst the soil and the shrubs, the Auckland Islands are further home to over 230 species of insects, including a native weta. The wonderful sun is shining. Let us bathe in the warm, blessed sun rays and take a quick and refreshing swim. We'll be right back here on Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to the New Zealand Sub-Antarctic Islands, a pristine haven of life. The Auckland Islands house 196 kinds of native plant species, which are mainly of the tussock and herb variety. In sheltered areas, small forests of southern rata can be found. The islands are also the southernmost location in the world that supports the life of the soft tree fern. Unfortunately, the introduction of pigs, goats, cattle, and rabbits in previous centuries, particularly on Enderby Island, have largely devastated the uniquely subantarctic megaherbs. Thankfully, they can still be found in their pristine state on some of the smaller islets, as well as on Adams Island. Although most of the subantarctic islands were formed by ancient volcanic eruptions, the Bounty Islands were created by existing igneous rock thrust upwards from the ocean floor. The unique geology, coupled with the incredibly rough weather conditions, means that these islands have steep rocky cliffs and are almost completely devoid of plant life. Despite this, there is an abundance of bird life, including some of the rarest birds in the world, the Bounty Island shags, and my family, the erect crested penguins. We sure love this beautiful home as our preferred breeding ground. The Antipodes Islands are so named for being at almost the opposite end of the earth to London, England, a novelty for their British discoverer. Because of their volcanic soil composition, the Antipodes Islands have richly diverse flora with 71 species of plant life, including tussock grass and the notable white lichen. As grazing mammals have never been introduced, the low-growing megaherbs flourish abundantly, as well as bountiful ferns. These islands are also home to one of the largest flying birds in the world, the Antipodean wandering albatross family, who lives in harmony with the local snipe and various parakeets. All the birds share an idyllic coexistence with a healthy seal population. It sure is lovely. Even though the Snares Islands are the closest to New Zealand's mainland, just 200 kilometres away, they have never been settled by humans, nor have they ever suffered from any introduced species, making them one of the country's most pristine locations. It is another ideal breeding ground for a variety of seabirds, particularly the sooty shearwater and crested penguin. A spectacular feature of Snares Islands is the prolific canopy of tree daisy, which in parts can reach up to 5 meters high. The Campbell Island group is the southernmost of the subantarctic islands, characterized by windswept and jagged cliff faces, as well as numerous rocky islets. But the main Campbell Island also has 3 natural harbours and a large bay, making human access convenient. The annual lowest average temperature in the Campbells in July is 6.9 degrees Celsius, and for 2/3 of the year, the sun will emerge for less than 1 hour a day. But during that brief daylight, you may marvel at most glorious of beauties. The mega herb fields of Campbell Island are truly a sight to behold in the spring, as the heady violet blooms gently dance to subantarctic breezes, creating a moment to remember with gratitude to God. Campbell Island is also home to the world's southernmost tree, a 100-year-old introduced spruce. Being some 200 kilometers away from its cousins, this 10-meter-high spruce tree is poetically known as the loneliest tree in the world, With rain and high winds on the island almost all year round, it is remarkable that any tree can grow on Campbell Island at all, let alone thrive for a century. What an amazing tree indeed. Meanwhile, you can find many of my sea lion friends guarding the coastlines and leading the ideal life. Like all of the Sub-Antarctic Islands, unique bird life also live on the Campbell Islands. Some species, unfortunately, are still listed as critically endangered. The Campbell Islands have a fascinating history of human intervention, similar to that of the Auckland Islands, and any prolonged attempts at settlement had to be abandoned because of the extreme climate. From the mid-20th century until now, the only people living or visiting the Campbell Islands have been weather specialists, followed by conservation scientists working to correct the environmental damage caused by introduced species over the previous 200 years. Although there is still much to be done, the Campbell Islands are making steady progress and are well on their way to a full recovery. Thank you, wonderful nature-loving patrons, for the shared experience of my truly unique and fascinating home, the beautiful Sub-Antarctic Islands of New Zealand. May all people continue to recognise the importance of such pristine sites and grant them lasting protection for the peace and abundance of our one and only Mother Earth. It's been a pleasure to have you, our noble eco-protecting heroes, with us today. Coming up next is Our Universe, a simulation or real physical realm, part 2 of 2. Right after noteworthy news, here on Supreme Master Television. May your day be filled with wonderment and joy. For more details and to check out our schedule for language availability, please visit suprememastertv.com/NB and suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Pour plus d'informations et pour consulter le programme des langues disponibles, visitez suprememastertv.com/NB et suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Untuk informasi lebih lanjut dan untuk melihat jadwal kami dan bahasa yang tersedia, silahkan kunjungi suprememastertv.com/NB dan suprememastertv.com/schedule.